계절도 다르고 낮과 밤도 우리와 정반대인 남미 국가들은 먼 대륙으로 인식이 강했지만 2000년대 이후엔 경제 협력이 늘어나면서 새로운 기회의 땅으로 부상했습니다. 특히 페루는 우리와 FTA를 체결한 국가로 두터운 경제 협력 관계를 유지하고 있는데요. 오늘 하이메 뽀마레다 주한 페루 대사를 모시고 박근혜 대통령의 이번 페루 방문의 의미와 두 나라 간 협력 확대 방안에 대한 의견을 들어보겠습니다. 대사님 안녕하세요. Thank you for joining us. It is an honor to have you today.
Well, it's my pleasure to be with you today, and I will to appreciate your kindness in providing me with the opportunity of this interview.
Okay. Korea and Peru have established a diplomatic relations in 1963 and continue to have a good relationship so far. I'd like to know your view on this.
Well, Peru was one of the first countries to recognize Korea, and since then we have been together in a long path of relations, finding ourselves at this point in the best time for the bilateral relations. I think it's one of the best moments in history for both countries alone. So together they are having and experiencing a time of excellent relations in every sense. I have to say that, for instance, it's not just economic, but also the exchange in tourists is growing, and that marks a very important sequence for the development of the bilateral relations. The bilateral relations are very rich, as I said. We have good cooperation in agriculture, in health, in defense, national security, in trade, investment, education, to mention just a few.
President of Korea, Park Geun-hye, will embark on a tour to some of the countries in Latin America, including Peru. What does this vision mean?
For Latin America, it's very important. In particular, for Peru, is really an historical and an instrumental, at the same time, visit for the future of the bilateral relations. In these two meetings, we expect to advance substantially in the cooperation in areas like health, defense, education, science and technology, and others. All these are going to be accompanied by the advances that will make the private sector that is accompanying the president to Peru, because they are going to have important meetings. More than 100 Korean companies are going to Peru together with the president, and we are already working in the finding of the counterparts, the most appropriate counterparts, in order to boost the relations between businessmen as well. President Humala and President Park Geun-hye has already met in the framework of the Bali APEC summit, and they have a very good, they established a very good relationship there. So we are really, in the best sense, try to exploit these already good relations in order to take the best from this visit.
South Korea and Peru signed FTA in August 2011. What is your evaluation on Korea-Peru FTA, and are there any improvements needed?
Indeed. It was a very good idea for both countries to initiate this process of negotiation that, as you said, ended up in 2011. And since then, the trade between the two countries has increased notably. But it's not just trade what involves the FTA, or it's also, it covers also investment and cooperation and exchange of businessmen. So FTAs are something that you cannot evaluate in full in 1 or 2 years. You have to give some more time. But despite of that, we could say that, for instance, And the FTA also provide the base for a further development in terms of relation, which is the elevation of our bilateral relations to the strategic integral association with Korea. And this provides us a framework to work in many areas in preferential conditions.
Okay. I heard that Peru is highly interested in Korea's rural development policy, 새마을 movement. How do you think it will contribute to Peru's development?
Well, among many issues that are really admirable in the Korea latest years of development is this initiative of Samuel. In the 70s, it was very important in order to develop the countryside, the rural areas. And Peru has a very vast territory, a lot of population in the rural areas. The geography of Peru is difficult. The mountainous the mountainous areas make difficult the physical integration. So we do have to pay special attention to the support to this remote part of the population of Peru in order to provide for them instruments for development. And this initiative has a lot of elements that we can rescue to use in our country. Korea is preparing, not launching yet, an international sort of a way of cooperate in order to promote this movement. But so far, we already have, through COICA, some projects that are helping the rural areas in Peru in order to get better conditions for their own development.
Okay, well, thanks again for sharing your opinion with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
네, 대사님 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
지금까지 하이메 포마레다 주한 페루 대사를 모시고 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 박근혜 대통령의 이번 페루 방문이 양국 관계 발전의 새로운 계기가 되기를 기대해 보겠습니다. 시청해주신 여러분 고맙습니다.